Hi everyone, it's Tish with Naptime Creations. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. It's free and it'll help me out a lot, so hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be making some crystal towers with these crystal tower molds. Let's Resin sent these to me to try, so we're going to make a couple and see how they turn out. The first thing I'm going to do is pour a little bit of resin into the molds here, and I'm going to take the silicone paintbrush because most likely you're going to end up with a bubble in the tip of the mold here. So you're going to want to take a silicone tool, a silicone paintbrush, and just dislodge that bubble there before you do anything further on these. And you might get some bubbles that cling to the side of the mold as well. Just take that brush and just dislodge those, and you can pop them with the silicone paintbrush as well. And I'm going to be using this iridescent, it's kind of like a film. You use it for if you were going to like wrap up a big gift basket. Dryer Days Art Studio sells a whole bunch of different colors on her website. It's called Fantasy Film. I'll link it down below. So what you do is or what I did was I just took a piece and cut it into different shapes, nothing too perfect. I was just trying to go for like triangle and square and rectangle shapes. And I'm just taking that film and pushing it down into the resin. And this one here, I decided to go in and fill it up all the way and pour it in one big cast. I wanted to see how it worked out because I'm using the floral epoxy from the epoxy resin store. That resin sets up really, really slowly. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. I love it for projects like this. I'll link it down below along with my coupon code if you guys want to check it out. I wanted to see what would happen if I just poured this in one pour. And I'm going to do the one on the right in 3 layers. So we'll see how different they turned out. So this one on the right, I'm going to go in and just fill it up a third of the way. Same thing, going with my silicone paintbrush, dislodge that bubble from the tip there. And then I'm going to add some of my iridescent mylar in there. Or I guess cellophane would be the proper term for this. It's iridescent cellophane. So if you guys try to find some, search for that. Just adding about 5 or 6 pieces into this first layer here. And when you push it down in there, you might get some bubbles that kind of pop up. Just take your silicone tool and kind of fish them out and bring them up to the surface and you can pop them. Here I'm just going around the rim of the pyramid. You can see there's some bubbles, so I'm going to go in with some 91% isopropyl alcohol and spray that, and that will pop the bubbles. And I'm going to add one more piece to the top right here. And you can see when you push it down, you might get some bubbles in there. So just kind of keep pushing it down. You'll be able to see if there's any bubbles trapped underneath that cellophane. So you can just kind of fish them out with your silicone tool or your silicone paintbrush, spraying it once more with that isopropyl alcohol. And that's it. Here we are 24 hours later. I did have a little bit of shrinkage on this one. So it shrunk a little bit as it cured. So I am going to fill it up the rest of the way with just a tiny bit of that floral epoxy. And this one here, we're going to go in and do layer 2. I was trying to pour these in 2-inch sections. So that way I could see the difference between if you did a full cast or pouring it in layers. And same thing, just adding more of that cellophane in there, pushing it down, making sure I get any bubbles. I think next time, or I know next time, what I'll do is I'll actually take that cellophane and dip it in the resin before I put it in the mold because I feel like you'll have less bubbles that way. And on this one, I decided to go in with Kaleidoscope from Dryer Days Art Studio. It's a gorgeous, super chunky holographic glitter. I thought maybe from the bottom it would cast some really cool holographic effects once this was out of the mold. So I thought I wanted to use that and just kind of drop a little bit in there and see how it turned out. Sprayed it with some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and here we are the next day, 24 hours later. This is the one that we're pouring in 3 layers. I actually put the cellophane in the mold first, and I'm going to go in and just fill it up the rest of the way with the floral epoxy. But there were quite a few bubbles when I did it this way, so if you guys try this, what I would do is just kind of take some tweezers or just your fingers, dip the cellophane in your cup of resin, and then put it in your mold, because I feel like it will kind of be sealed that way, and then you won't have as many bubbles. But they are easy to get out. Just kind of push the cellophane down, and then the bubbles come out, and you can spray it with some 91% isopropyl alcohol to pop it. And this one I'm just sprinkling on some iridescent mylar glitter just on the bottom. Just going to push it down a little bit, and that's it. I'm going to let them dry. And here we are 48 hours later. I'm taking a piece of tape and I'm just picking up any little spots of resin that might be on the perimeter of the mold. You want to do this before you demold your projects because you don't want those little tiny pieces of resin getting down into your mold. They can be tricky to get out. So I like to take a piece of tape and get off any little extra pieces before I demold my projects. So I just am spraying 91% isopropyl alcohol around each section of this tower, just like this. Kind of pull the mold to the side so you can get that isopropyl alcohol down in there, squeeze it, pull it to the side to try to get that isopropyl alcohol down there, squeeze and twist to get these out. The first time you demold these, it is a little bit tricky, but if you do this, I promise once you do one, you'll get the hang of it. You really kind of have to squeeze and twist to get these demolded, just like this, kind of squeeze and twist, and then push it from the bottom. And you'll see the alcohol kind of working its way down to the tip of the crystal. And when you see that it's almost to the tip, it'll be ready to push from the bottom and it'll pop right out. Super easy. And look at how pretty this one turned out. This is the one that we poured in 3 layers. I really, really love this. I think I'm going to do a white iridescent cellophane next time. Dryer Days Art Studio has one, I think it's called Sheer Opal. So I'd really like to try that one in my next piece. And I think it would be fun to kind of incorporate different colors of, like maybe natural stone colors. So like white, gray, maybe even a little bit of silver, and just kind of fill the mold up that way. I think it would be really pretty and almost look like a stone. So here's the one that we poured in one big layer. The floral epoxy does cure slower, so it takes a little bit longer to set up. Around 48 to 72 hours after you pour, your projects will be ready to demold. So keep that in mind if you guys try out this epoxy. The first time I used it, I checked on my project and it was still gel at 24 hours, and I thought I had done something wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong. It just takes longer to set up. So when you guys try this resin, don't be alarmed if you check on your project at 24 hours and it's not ready. Give it another 24 to 48 hours and then it'll be fully hardened. You want to make sure your room is warm too, around 70 to 75 degrees. So here's how this one turned out. I popped it out of the mold and unfortunately it got too hot. You can see some of the sides are matte. It has a matte finish, so you don't want to pour these in one shot. You want to pour these in layers. I thought that it would work because that floral epoxy sets up so slow, but it didn't. It ended up actually ruining the mold. And then upon further inspection, after I took my gloves off, I picked up the crystal and it was actually still sticky on those matte parts. So I could have tried, or I might try to do a top coat and see if that seals it in because it was only slightly sticky, but I'm not sure. I think that might just be a whoopsie and go in the trash project. And these take about 7 ounces to fill up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and go check out a few more of my other videos. That would really help out my channel a lot. I'll leave a few of my favorites right here at the end card screen. Just click the picture and it'll take you straight to the video. And as always, I'll link all the materials I used down below in the description box, along with any coupon codes that I have. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys are all doing fabulous, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye, guys.